Good evening, folks. I've been asked by several people to revisit the old-fashioned mix, so I'm gonna go into the old-fashioned blend a little bit more in detail tonight. So follow along. Old-fashions have been around George Washington's time, probably before that. There's as many ways to make them as there are people to drink them. It's like chili and Bloody Marys and all that. There's three basic components to an old-fashioned: bitters, sugar, and whiskey. After that, it's all up to the owner. Last year, I was in Sioux City, Iowa, and there was a place I went to eat, and they had old-fashions there, and they made great cocktails. And I was watching the bartender make these, and I ordered one after having a gin and tonic or something, and it was literally the best cocktail I'd ever had in my life, and I've had a few. So I mimicked their way of putting it together. They used bitters. I think they used Angostura. I'm going to use Peychaud's bitters. It'll work. There's several bitters out there that are fine. This stuff right here, it's a Demerara sugar simple syrup, and I think this is an important component to my old fashions anyway. It's got an earthy, brown sugary flavor to it, and there's enough of it in there you can taste it. For whiskey, I'm going to use this guy right here. A bit about hard liquor and mixing. I hear people specify expensive whiskeys or bourbons or vodkas or whatever when they're going to get a drink that's going to cover it up and flavor it, like a Bloody Mary. Are you kidding me? You get the cheapest damn vodka in the world and put in a Bloody Mary, you're going to know it from an Absolute or Tito's or what the hell ever. I might get some blowback on that. Anyway, Benchmark is distilled by Buffalo Trace, which makes fabulous bourbon. This is the same stuff that, would it stay in a cask longer, would it end up being Buffalo Trace or maybe even Blanton's. Same mash bill. This is $12 at IGA. It's a hell of a bargain. And if you're a person that likes like bourbon and Coke or mix it with stuff, this is the best stuff going. Anyway, so our proportions are going to be 3 shots of 3 squirts of bitters, about a half an ounce to 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, and 2 jiggers, which is 3 ounces of bourbon. Now, along with the bourbon, I'm going to put ice in this and stir it till it's cold, and the ice will do a couple of things. It will not only make the drink cold, but it will render some water, which, I mean, it's straight bourbon and sugar and bitter, so it needs something to thin it down a little bit. So, all right, follow along. First, bitters, 3 squirts. 1, 2, 3. I think I got one over here. There we go. All right. And then the Demerara simple sugar. Now this stuff I found is fabulous. I also found it's $18 on Amazon. So I went and got a bag of Demerara simple sugar, or Demerara sugar at IGA, and 2 cups of sugar, a cup of water, put it in a saucepan or some kind of a pan, simmer it down till everything's blended. You can make that much Demerara sugar for about $1.50. So it's great online, but it's cheaper to make it. So anyway, I don't know if this is stuff I made or stuff I bought. It tastes the same. All right, 2 jiggers of bourbon. 1, 2. All right, set that guy down. All right, ice. And as I said, the ice is not only make the drink cold, but it's to put some water into the drink. So I kind of hold it and see when it gets cold. I don't know, the place I bought these at, the drinks at, they stirred it for a predetermined number of seconds or whatever. I could probably tell a story that long because I know a few. But anyway, I'll let that sit. All right, got a glass, Kentucky, because, you know, it's Kentucky. Big ice cube. And the big ice cube in an old fashioned, after you do this, you've already got it cold. And the smaller ice cubes have put some water into the drink. So the big ice cube, its job is to keep things kind of at a constant temperature, but not putting a whole lot of water back in the drink. Like, you know, if you go to a bar and you order some kind of drink and they load it with crushed ice, the first few drinks it's okay, and it gets down halfway and you're drinking, it's all water. So I hate crushed ice in a drink, unless it's Coke, or I don't even like it then. Hate crushed ice. Anyway, so big cube. Let's stir this once more for posterity's sake. And the ice cubes have melted down a little bit. And putting some water into the blend. Strainer. And pour over the cube. All right. You hear Booker T and the MGs in the background? Now you do. When you're having a good cocktail, you don't want to be having like a chainsaw running, or, you know, a garbage truck backing up, or some offensive sound. Put some nice music on, wash your hands, wash your face, and act like an adult, and go for the full enjoyment. All right. Back down a little bit so you can hear me talk. All right. Got the old fashioned in the glass. The next, and for me, a very important part, is an orange peel, because old fashions, some people put like a bunch of crap in the bottom and muddle it, like, I don't know, cherries and, I don't know, horseradish and shrimp, or god awful things like that. I'm not a fan. It muddies the flavor. What I do is, you can tell, I may have had one. Anyway, a big peel of orange. Even these orange peelers too. Amazon, like $6. Splurge, get it. And then you squeeze the orange peel over the top of it, and you can see the oil floating across the top. So when you start drinking this, resist the urge to stir it or disturb it, because you don't want to mix it up. You want that oil floating on the top of the drink. All right. Then I kind of rub that around and tuck that guy in the edge. Wipe my hands off. They smell like orange and bourbon. And you got an old fashioned. Cheers, my friend. Be well. I just got an email. Have a good evening.